Okay, so this video will be a little different than what I usually do, because I just saw the dev talk that Zenless Zone Zero posted for version 2, and there are so many cool things that I saw that I just feel like I have to talk about it. So just a warning, if you're 12 and your retention span is very short, be very careful, this video will not have unhinged editing. So we got a preview of Wi-Fi Peninsula, which is apparently the next zone in Zenless Zone Zero, and specifically they showed us a city called Phalium Heights, which is actually super cool because it's like a city built on a mountain. It also seems to have a bit more of a Chinese aesthetic to it, and I don't know if it's the entire Wi-Fi Peninsula to have that, or if it's specifically Phalium Heights that has this Chinese aesthetic. The first character that we're actually shown of this area is theoretically Jufufu, but the one that probably most people will be talking about is called the Yixuan, right? Which looks super good. And I just don't understand, like, this character is just shown with, like, these big-ass wings, and it almost feels like the Miyabi of the upcoming versions, but that wouldn't make any sense, because if Yixuan was a Void Hunter, we would have known already, because Zenless Zone Zero actually made a teaser before it actually came out, showing the Void Hunters in the world of Zenless Zone Zero. And she wasn't present! So then they confirmed that Obo Squad and Angels of Delusion will make an appearance in version 2. Which means two things. The first one is that the Virtual Idols faction that we were shown in the pre-release livestream is actually finally coming to the game, in probably like in this area or just in these patches. And second, since we're seeing more of Obo Squad, it might mean that we're getting also new characters from it. At least that's what I'm hoping for. It would be cool to see like more Obo Squad members, perhaps the ones that were shown in Trigger's teaser video. We got a bunch of names, we don't know about their whereabouts, if they're still alive. I'll be honest, I haven't played Trigger's Agent story yet, so if anything is confirmed there, I have no idea. I'll play it in the next days anyways. And they actually announced the teaser of version 2 to come out on April 13th, so I'm actually super excited to see what they have in store for version 2. I feel like they already showed a lot of things today, so I have no idea what they're actually planning to do with this teaser. Maybe we get a better look at like all the factions. Maybe it's kind of like those teasers that Genshin does, in which we get to see like a preview of all the characters that are present. That would be absolutely crazy, and I'm really hoping they're gonna do that. Anyways, Yixuan, absolutely gorgeous. I am definitely going to pull her. So something else that they mentioned about the new area that slightly concerns me is that they said that this area will have much less loading screens. So the area is a bit more connected than what we currently have in the game. So like for example, the current areas have a lot of loading screens. For example, when entering random play, you just meet it with a loading screen, which can be disruptive, and I understand that. But removing loading screens concerns me a little bit. If I take Lumina Square as reference to be like a big area without as many loading screens, I feel like that zone lags a lot. Like, at least on my PC, I feel like my frame rate drops drastically when I'm in Lumina Square. So I would have liked to hear a bit more reassurance on the fact that yes, there will be less loading screens, but it'll be more optimized. I hope that's the case, but we'll see. They also mentioned a bunch of story updates, which are really interesting and I would like to talk about. They said that special episodes and Phaeton's story are currently a bit disjointed, and they will try to make them feel a bit more connected in the future, which I think is a really good idea. But because of stuff that I will talk about later, I'm actually kind of split about this. They said that they will add more. They said that they will add more small side quests which focus on character interactions. So like for example, you might just see Zhu Yuan going to the movie theater or stuff like that. I think they had it on screen or something. I'll also put it as well. And the biggest news about the story is that apparently we're getting new main story every single version. And this is why I thought that special episode thing was a little odd. I feel like the special episodes were a nice way to make main story that wasn't exactly progressing the plot. The fact that special episodes and Phaeton's story are getting merged and we're getting them every single update is exciting, but I'm a bit concerned that we might need some time off here and there. For example, the Astra and Evelyn story that we got, like that's a really good example of something major just happened. In 1.4 we got like that major stuff happening. Then we got, you know, a bit of like a different story that is obviously still in the world of Zenless, but doesn't exactly progress the plot, to then move on to the Hugo and the Lycaon stuff that we've seen in the newest update, right? I feel like that's a really good example of the special episodes being disjointed, as they said, but in my opinion being like a good thing. Maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe you guys would appreciate a bit more if we just kept progressing on the story every single patch. I mean, at the end of the day, a patch is 40 days, so you still have one whole month to process whatever's going on in that story. They said that we won't need to interact with the HDD system anymore, which we could already expect from the latest story, since, if I remember correctly, I might be misremembering, but I think that our protagonist just took like some pills, normal pills, to be able to enter the hollows without using EOS as a medium. So I think it's kind of like a natural progression of that. Now I'm kind of wondering if they already had this part of the story already planned out to happen eventually, or if they put it in because they wanted to remove the TV system after all the feedback that the players gave when they didn't want it, which recently has actually flipped because now I keep seeing posts asking for the TV mode back. I personally am glad that they're gone. I would rather not have them in the game than have them. I just found them too disruptive. I would just lose track of the story every time I was put in the TV mode. It was just not great. So Zenless Zone Zero is coming to Xbox, which is surprising because they recently made an April Fool's saying that Xbox would be receiving like an exclusive Bang Boo, but that was just an April Fool's. Of course, like it's not coming to the game. But I guess Xbox people rejoice? I don't know, play some clapping sound effect. And yet more exciting news in the combat. Okay, these are actually the news I wanted, but never expected to hear. First off, they said they will improve non-DPS characters by making them able to attack off field, which I'll be honest, I don't know what they mean. I don't know if they are referring to the aftershock mechanic, or if they just mean that characters will be able to perform actions while off field, which they kind of already do, but maybe you can actually just make them attack off field the whole time. Like the way I imagined it is, imagine if you start using Lycaon's charged attacks, right? And when you switch him off, imagine if he completed the entire string of attacks. I thought that would be kind of cool, right? They also said that they will make some enemies that require more teamwork from characters in your squad to create like a better synergy between characters. The way I imagine it is kind of similar to that boss that we've seen in Deadly Assault, the one that requires you to like defensive assist with multiple characters. Maybe something similar to that, but not as simple as just using defensive assists. They could make, for example, like an enemy that in order to be stunned has to be attacked by 3 characters at the same time. So that's something I really like to see, but I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself here because they basically only said that they will improve off-field characters and that more teamwork stuff will be required. So feel free to speculate in the comments what they might mean with that. What is really interesting about the combat updates, what as I said before, is the news I wanted but never expected to receive. They should have said that their goal with the Zenless characters is to relatively make them future-proof and have long-term value. They want to follow this vision by adding or even reworking older character skills and effects to bring out a bit more of their uniqueness, you know what I mean? Like, for example, if there's a character that's really good at something, they're really gonna double down on what that character specializes at. And not just that, apart from buffing these older characters, they will also consider their value in future versions of the game, which means that they will keep it in mind. For example, if, let's say for example that Grace, which is a character that has struggled a little bit since the start of the game, is the character that they envision to be like the shock queen of the game. Then they're really gonna double down on that and make maybe her shocks be so good that if your team wants shock, then your team wants Grace, kinda shit. You know what I mean? I feel like that would be really cool, and I think it's extremely healthy for the game. We're not even at version 2.0, and they're already announcing something like that. I think this definitely completely crushes the idea that people had that Zenless is gonna go the HSR path of power creep and all that bad stuff that we've seen in HSR. I'm just really happy to have heard it, I'll be honest. It also makes me a bit more relieved, for example, because I pulled Ellen on her rerun, and I just feel like Ellen is just a bit, you know. Of course she lives in the shadow of Miyabi. I mean, that is to be expected. Miyabi is a Void Hunter, but at the same time, it is a little sad, and I would like to see her shine a bit more again. since I never got to experience it on my account. I'll be honest, the only buff that I would like on Ellen is for her not to be interrupted when she's using her normal attacks. Like, those are your bread and butter of Ellen, okay? You get hit once when you're doing her basic attacks, your entire combo is fucked, your life is ruined, and you just gotta do that long-ass charged attack again, which can also get interrupted. And it's really annoying since you have like a limited amount of ice-infused attacks that you can do. Make her get less interrupted, for Christ's sake. With Mia, you don't even have to do anything and she doesn't even flinch. Like, if you want to buff her more than this, it's fine, but this is really the only thing I would want them to do with Ellen, for example. But of course, they also probably plan to buff other characters as well. On screen, they actually had they actually had Corinne's gameplay from the Lost Void mode, I think it's called, in which she has like a special weapon to just sprint around with a chainsaw, which is just goofy but like really fun. We might just see some of these things being put into their actual kits, and that would be so good, honestly. They didn't say that. I just want to make this very clear. They didn't say that, but I have a bit of a feeling, you know, especially Corinne on the screen. I think it was a little suspicious putting Corinne specifically, which is a character that is generally considered underwhelming, right? Even if these changes end up not being that relevant to whatever they're gonna do, it's still nice that they're doing them and that they're trying. Like, the fact that their goal is to make characters be somewhat future-proof and have long-term value, it means that you don't have to pull a character with the stress that in 3 months it might not be viable anymore, the same way it is on HSR, in which you pull a character with basically an expiration date, because once the game decides it's not gonna favor your character anymore, then your character can just go fuck itself at that point. And that's pretty much it. I've yapped a lot about my thoughts and about my excitement for version 2. I think I'll make another video like this on April 13th. So a little bit of a laid-back video in which we just talked about stuff that are coming and, you know, my excitement for it. Let me know if you guys want to see more of these videos, because I don't like my channel being dead without any uploads or stuff like that, so I might just put these videos in between those major videos that I do, like for example Trigger, Soldier Zero, and the never released Evelyn video that will forever haunt me for not being uploaded. But yeah, cool stuff. I'm really excited. Share your thoughts in the comments. I really want to make this a discussion, and I will read every single one of your comments, I promise. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one, which might as well be on April 13th, since they're releasing a new teaser. Alright, see you gamers.